Hello my lovelies, come into the studio. I'm Dyan Reaveley and I'm a signature designer with Ranger, and this is episode 5 of my Diamond series where I show you everything to do with my new Diamond range. And today we will be using my collage sheets to create beautiful tiled effects, and we will be embedding. Can you see where I've embedded stamps into there and adding some of the dust on top? So this is what we'll be using today. You're going to need some boards, some collage sheets. You are going to need the dabber of the medium, and you're also going to need the pad. Okay, you need both of those. You're going to need some of the diamond dust and clear rocks, diamond dust, clear rocks, and then we're going to also add a little bit of the Dylusions stickles. Okay, you need a heat tool and a heat mat, and let's get going. Okay, enjoy. So today, as I said, we are going to be using collage sheets. Now these are my collage sheets. I actually have 6 sets. I have 6 1 to 4 in what I would call normal collage. They're not normal at all. And then I have 2 Christmas. Okay, set 1, set 2 of Christmas. This is set 3, and you can see I have lots of images that you can cut out. It's the quality of the paper. The paper is such good quality. Okay, so we have lots and lots of large images, all my weird wonderful stuff. Everything in here has come directly out of my journals. And then we have background sheets. Okay, this is the one that I'm wanting. You can see we have lots of background sheets, and then we also have smaller images, so we have everything half size. Now in set 3 and set 4 you have these background sheets that are exactly, oh, look at that, exactly the size. So if you wanted to, you could just cut these up. Let me just see if I can find from here. I don't know which set. Is that from there? Oh, must be. I must have done these from the other set, but you can see they fit perfectly on here. Okay, so you could just cut these out and you can use them. Or I'm just going to pop that back there. Or you could take any bits. So these are some of the collage bits, and I could use part of these if I wanted to use these. Do you see? So for example, here I've taken the eye. So today I'm just going to use something quite simple. So I think I'm going to use this. Just check that it fits on. Yes, it does. So what you're going to do, and again, I'm just going to get my little cutting mat. I make a lot of these at the same time. You can see I've got some here ready to do. These are left over from the Christmas. There's a Christmas one. My writing is already on a lot of the Christmas tiles, but anyway, I make a couple, so I'll do 2. One I'm just going to leave blank, one I'm going to stamp into. Okay, I use my Dylusions glue stick. It's just such a really good glue stick, and you glue, and you've got to make sure you get right to the edge. Okay, make sure you cover it completely. And then I am just going to, if there's a particular, say I want some, more of this, I'm going to move it slightly more over this side. I'm going to really press it down, and then I am going to go round and really press it down at this end. I want every bit of this to be pressed down. Okay. So again, this is why I make a lot more in advance. Put that to one side. Let's do a hexagon one. What should we do? Let's have a look. What should we do with the hexagons? Could have, it's 2. You wouldn't really see the pattern if I went for that large one. What is that? Does it fit on there? Yes, let's have that one. But you can use anything at all. You can see here I picked out, particular things. I picked out a tree, but I'm just doing random today. So glue stick all over, right on the edges. Don't use a wet glue because your paper will, what we call wrinkle. And don't use double-sided tape because you will end up seeing the lines of the double-sided tape. Okay, press it down firmly all over, pick it up, press it down firmly, bend those edges over, and really, really press it down. Okay, then I'm going to take my cutting mat and I'm going to trim these edges. I find this is the most precise because what you don't want is you don't want these corners to lift up. So if you cut it with scissors, you are in danger of leaving a little bit of a corner. You could do this with photocopies of photographs, anything like that. Okay, so I have these two, now I can't use them straight away. I could catch the edge and lift it up. So my little tip is take either an emery board, or this is so ancient, this is probably 20 years old, this is Making Memories, sandpaper pad, and what you need to do is you need to sand the edges. Now you're holding this like this at about a 45-degree angle, okay, and what you're doing is eliminating any of the edges that might get lifted up. So if you went with this and you caught this edge, I don't know if you can see, but if you caught that edge, it would lift. So if you give it a little sand, it's going to take all that away, because you don't want the medium or the rocks to get underneath there. Okay, so that's my tip. And you could use an emery board, whichever, doesn't really matter. And then you get this effect. And then it's up to you. If you wanted to, you could ink around the edge of that. You know, if you wanted, say, dark, you could take like this, or you could use paint. You know, you could have a paint dabber, put paint on the end. If you don't, I quite like the white edge, but if you don't like the white edge, that's what you could do. And again, I make up lots of these ready, because if I went straight on, the glue is not cured. If I went straight on this now, it would just start to lift and bubble. So I make a pile of these up. This is the type of thing you do when you don't really know what to do in your studio. You make a few of these. So I'm going to use these two. Okay, I've also got some little smaller ones because I wanted those words. Can you see? I wanted merry and bright, and they wouldn't fit on one, so I did two. So they're going to go on a card. I'm going to have merry and bright together on a card. Okay, so I'm going to go with this one. So these two are going over there to cure. Again, I do about a dozen, and by the time it's taken me to do all those, you know, it's usually an hour or so. The longer you can leave the glue to dry, the better, but that's up to you. Okay, so now get those out the way. Coming in with the dabber, and it's exactly the same as yesterday. So the first one, exactly the same. Make sure you have got the liquid everywhere. Okay, I always store my dabber upside down so the liquid is at the bottom. So make sure you've got the liquid everywhere. Throw the rocks on. And then we're going to be the same as yesterday. So again, lift it up, take off the excess. And I'm just going to do 3 coats and leave them. And you might say to yourself, well, what, you know, oh, I think the when you embed a stamp in, it looks amazing. Why don't you do that every time? Because you don't want everything to look the same. I think it's nice when you've got a lot that are just look like tiles, and then you've got some with a pattern in. Remember, first coat always takes ages to well, it takes longer to melt because it's totally cold. Every subsequent every subsequent coat, gosh, that was a tongue twister, will be quicker. Remember, I have got my heat resistant mat underneath. Do not do this on your dining table. Okay, so go back, make sure you're melting it, making it hot everywhere. Throw your powder back on. Second coat. Melt the second coat, which will be quicker. You can usually see where you haven't melted it. Don't be too impatient to go all the way around and then go back. Heat it all up. Last coat. You get yourself in a little rhythm and you'll be absolutely fine. Okay, last coat. I usually just melt it straight on the mat. And this time, remember, I don't have to go around and reheat. If you haven't seen the other videos in the series, go back and check them out, because it's a series, and this is episode 5. And if I don't explain something in this, I've probably already explained it in the previous video. Episode 4 has got lots, so then you get this gorgeous, as you can see, tiled effect. This is red hot, I can't hold it for long, and you get this gorgeous like tiled effect, which you can put on cards, you can punch a hole in it, you can make them as tags. I tile covers, that's what I do with that. So I'm just going to put that to one side, and then this time I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to embed a stamp into it. So I'm just going to get a Christmas, because that's Christmas, I'm going to get a Christmas stamp out to embed into it. How about this little holly? That will do. That holly is from the set Mr. Boo's Adventure. Just happens to be what I've got hanging around. So I thought I'd got, there we go. We'll put on that there. Ready. So we're going to do exactly the same again until we get to the third coat. So I'm just going to, every now and again, squeeze it, but don't squeeze it too much. You don't want it, bursting and popping out the end. But make sure, I find when most people do this, they don't put enough on. They just go like that. But you can, I don't know if the camera is catching this, but you can see where it's glossy all over. And you need to make sure you get to the ends. And when you pick it up, be careful that you don't, get your fingers stuck. So first layer on, so it's exactly the same as we've done before until we get to the third layer. Okay, so layer 1. Again, you see, because it's cold, it just takes longer. Some people like the look of the first coat where it's really lumpy bumpy. I don't. I like it really smooth, but it's a personal preference. So heat it all over. And I recommend working through the series in the order that I've done it. Don't try to do everything at once. Learn the steps And then when you get to the final ones, you'll be really proficient. So that's the second coat. This could be a book page. Remember, if you're doing a photograph, it's got to be a photocopy of that photograph, otherwise it'll just melt, totally melt. If you enjoy it and you'd like more in depth, I do have a class. If you go onto the website, Dyan Reaveley More, there is a class called, oh, sorry, didn't go back and heat it, called Diamonds Are Forever. And there's everything you could possibly want to know in depth, in real time. Okay, each class is about 2.5 hours. Right, so we are on third layer. Okay, now before I melt this layer here, what I want to do is I want to prepare my stamp, because this is going to be red hot, this is rubber. So now I take the Diamond medium pad, because I don't want too much, and I'm just going to ink that all over. If I use this, I get a bit too much on, so I just use the diamond pad. Okay, and then I'm going to put that to one side. I'm going to hold it in my hand, because if I hold it like this, it will dry. So now I'm going to do the third coat. And while that third coat is wet, I am going to stamp the holly stamp into it. I've protected it with the diamond medium will protect the stamp from the heat. And you only really need to make sure wherever you're stamping, that is where you need that to be hot. Once it cools, you won't be able to stamp into it. Okay, then take your stamp. Now, you don't have to press tons, but you just press down. Sometimes the stamp will stay in there. Did you see how it stuck to the mat? That's why I take it off the paper for the last one. Now, I'm not sure if you can see, if that's showing. Can you see where the indentation is? Where the holly was? And then if you want to make it stand out more, what I do is I get my my diamond dusts. I'm just going to use this colour, and I take my little Fafa brush, and you just get a tiny bit on, and I come in and I go down those indents. And the combination of the heat and the diamond medium that was on the pad will keep that in there. So I don't put too much on, but I'm just adding it for now. And then you have to let it cool a little. If you don't let it cool, it can just go everywhere. Once you've let it cool a little bit, take the fluffer brush and then just lightly fluff off the excess. And then you can see the pattern embedded in there. And you can leave it like that, or you can go in with the Dylusion stickles and you can add a little bit of glitz. So this is a stickles that dries clear, but just with lots of little iridescent sparkles in. So I'm just going to put it down the stem. I like to get a steel pin and then put the pin in my stickles, because I always get a little bit that sticks. It's got to be steel, otherwise it will rust. And then this needs to dry, so it doesn't look too sparkly at the moment, but this is what they look like when they are done. This has got the flower in, and this one, you can see. So if I just pull these over here, let's get that one out of the way, and you can see that that's the one we did earlier. So we have the plain ones, and then we have the ones in between. And again, look, you can do, so then when you come to put them on your journals or boxes, you can tile them in like that. I know I'm going to put the hand in that. Or you can make, so what you would do is, you would do like this. Can you see? So I'm trying to find non-Christmassy here, sorry. And then you would tile them onto your, oh, that's the same. Let's put that one. If you are doing the square journal, you actually need 16 of these. So you need, we'd need another row, and we'd need another row down here. But the aim is, you don't want everything to be, see, I've run out. But that would fit a journal with a tiny gap in between. I like to paint the journal black. So you see the black between. See, we had two more here. There we go. And I just think it looks best if you just have a few that are embedded in. Okay. Enjoy and see you tomorrow.